Welcome back, you beautiful people, to another lesson in Advanced Excel. And today I'm going to be introducing you to dashboards. Okay, and we are on the dashboards one file, under file one, and we are on sheet one. Okay, now you may ask, what exactly are dashboards? And I'd like to define a dashboard as a user-friendly interface that allows users to view KPIs, key performance indicators, which are summary data at a glance. In Excel, dashboards are made up of various features. It's not just one feature, various features including charts, tables, views, grouping, etc. We'll be discussing these features as we go on. Okay, let me scroll back up. And what exactly do we have here? Here we have a sales report which shows on the horizontal axis it shows sales by um, yearly quarters. You can see 2010 is broken down into 4 quarters, 2011 is broken down into 4 quarters, and it also shows on the vertical axis sales by regions, cities in different regions. So the north region has two cities, Delhi and Gurgaon, East Kolkata, Ranchi, etc. Okay, now let's let's move over to sheet one solution, the next tab. Now, what do we have here? Here we have a summary of sheet one, right? Here we have um just sales by region. So under each region, it has found the total of all the cities under each region, and it has found the total of all the quarters under each year, and it just shows a summary, a neat summary. And when I click on this plus sign above column F and K, you notice that it opens up and it shows me all the quarters within each year. I can do that for K now, right? And when I press those same buttons on the vertical axis here, it shows me, it opens up and it shows me the sales figure per city, per region. I'll do that for East, West, South. So how do we get this neat summary? Now let me go back to the way it was by pressing one. Can press one, these two one, number one buttons here. I press the other number one button and it folds back up. How do we group how do we group all this data we have in sheet one so that we get a neat summary just showing KPIs that we can open up if we need to? Okay, so to do that, let's take it axis by axis. So let's take the horizontal axis first, where you have years broken down into 4 quarters. Okay, so now if I want to group 2010 into if I want to group 2010, group all the quarters in 2010, how do I do this? First of all, you select all the columns under 2010. You don't select them half-heartedly like this. I want you to actually select them by going to the column heading, right? Selecting these 4 column headings for the 4 quarters, right? Then under the data tab, I want you to come over to group here and just press it once, okay? And if you look here, if I press this minus sign button on top of F, you notice it has folded up into a neat summary, just showing me the total for 2010. If I press it again, it opens back up. So I'm going to close this. So I can do the same for 2011. I can group 2011. Let me group 2011. Under the data tab, I go to group. Okay. And once I press the minus sign, that also folds up nicely and just shows me the total for 2011. Okay. Now, what about, let's take the vertical axis where you have sales by region, and under each region you have different cities. Okay, now it's the same approach. I select the rows under each region. I don't select them half-heartedly like this. I actually use the row headings to select them. Okay, and now I can go under data type, I can go to group again. Okay, so you get the drill. I'm just going to do that quickly for east, west, and south. Okay, I group that. And you can also use, remember the F4 key, which we use to repeat a certain task. So I can just group, let me group the cities under west and press F4 key since I just did that task. And it groups up. Let me do that for south. Press the F4 key and it groups up also. So what I have here is exactly what I have in sheet 1 solution, where I have just the KPI showing. Okay. Now I can open all of this back up using pressing the number one, or the number two rather, number two buttons to open them up, number one to close. Okay. Now, if you want to remove these groupings, what you need to do, let me remove the quarterly grouping, the one on the horizontal axis. Let me remove the quarterly groupings. All you just need to do is select the range of the columns that were grouped, right? You can even extend a little beyond it just to be sure. Select the range of the columns that were grouped. Don't select them half-heartedly. Use the column headings to select them. Okay, then under data tab, click on group once. Okay, and all the groupings have been removed. And we can do the same thing for um, all the groupings on the vertical axis for the cities for each region. I select all the rows that have been grouped, and under the data tab I come to ungroup. Okay, and it takes me back to square one. Okay, now that's it for grouping. Let's move over to sheet 2, or rather, let me go back to sheet 1. um Another thing I'd like to show you is how to make that grouping process faster. Okay, because you may have, what if I had several years, like not just 2010 and 2011, let's say I had like 20 years now. Would I be going year by year and grouping them? No, that'll take way too long. Okay, so how do I group them automatically? Now, because you have, at each interval, at each year, you have a sum formula here which marks the interval. Okay, you have some formulas at each interval. You can use a feature called auto outline to automatically group everything at once. So you select the range that needs to be grouped, right? So I've selected the entire range that needs to be grouped. Then under the data tab, under group, don't click on group, click on this small icon that shows you what's under group. Click on auto outline. Okay, and it automatically groups each year. It knows when to stop because of the sum formulas at each year. And we can do the same for sales. We can do the same for region, by each city in each region. We can group by region because it also has some formulas which mark the interval. We have a sum formula here, we have some formulas here, and so on. So we can select the entire range. Remember to use the row headings to select the range. Okay, then under group, auto outline. Okay, and it has automatically grouped as well. So I can close all of this up, and you can see it does the exact same thing as we did before, just quicker. Okay, now we can move over to sheet 2. And in sheet 2, what do we have here? In sheet 2, we have different months of the year and their corresponding sales, including a total. And we have over here, we have a VLOOKUP. Okay, now what a VLOOKUP does basically is that a VLOOKUP saves us the stress of having to go through our data trying to find the particular sales of a month. Like for instance, if I wanted to find, oh, if I wanted to know what's the sales figure for September, I would have to scroll through and okay, this is September, now this is the sales. Now imagine we had a much larger table with many more things to look up. Like imagine we had the different months of several years that extended several hundred rows. That would be a very difficult process, a very long process. So what the VLOOKUP does is that it looks up the sales figure by just typing in the month. So for instance, I can just type in December, right? And it shows me the sales figure for December. It looks up the sales figure, and I can type in, say, let me type in September, right? And it does the same thing. However, the problem with a lookup or a VLOOKUP is that if I misspell, let's say for me, I add a second Y, I misspell any